Welcome to the Postmodern Polymath Podcast. Hello, comrades. This is Criss. It's been a while. I think it's August 31st, which I don't know what time is anymore. We're in a timeless void. So I think that's 2 months. I don't know. So Lyman's not here again. He's going through some shit. So say a prayer for Lyman. If you do such things, which I know y'all don't. Anyway, so for my return, I wanted to bring on somebody I hadn't talked to before and didn't really even know until fairly recently. He is the host of the, Skeptical Satanist Podcast. I was trying to flip the words around. And he's a pretty cool guy. And he's got a decent beard, but it's not as good as mine. Join me in welcoming Daniel Criss. How's it going?
Nice to meet you, and nice to be on. Well, nice to meet you in person, yes.
Ish, yeah.
COVID person.
So, how you doing, man?
Doing good.
Anything?
Good, considering.
Yeah, it's not like anything really big deals going on. Everything's pretty smooth. No worries, no problems. Everything's fine. No dumpster fires taking place or anything. All right, well, everybody else does that shit. We'll do something different. You can hear about that on every damn news channel. So, yeah, I wanted to have you on because, well, frankly, the Skeptical Satanist, I wanted to keep fucking it up. Skeptical Satanist. I was like, okay, that's an interesting combination. So, first of all, why don't you just tell the people briefly what your podcast is about?
We have started out at one format. We've changed, but basically the gist of it is that we're interviewing atheists about coming out of religion and things, and trying to kind of educate people a bit more on Satanism and secularism altogether.
Right. So how many episodes you got done as of right now?
Oh, what do we have? 5 or maybe? Not very many.
Well, that's cool. I mean,
But yeah. Our crowd's in the tens of 30s, I believe.
Tens of 30s. I mean, well, you gotta start somewhere, man. There's no shame in that.
Yeah.
I don't know how long I've been doing this now, but it's been about 2-3 years now, I guess. But I don't have that many viewers really. I actually was doing this on YouTube. Well, initially it was just a podcast, and then I started doing it on here, on YouTube when it was Google Hangouts, and then I had to switch to this because Google Hangouts went away, so I had to find something else. But I started putting this on Facebook instead of YouTube because nobody watches this shit on Facebook, on YouTube. So I was like, if I want to get anybody to actually watch it and hear me ramble, then I probably should put it on Facebook. But then I put the video on YouTube later. But anyway, whatever. So do you is it just you or do you have somebody else or?
I do have a co-host, Dylan. Yeah, he's not on right now. We're on a little bit of a hiatus right now, I guess. We're trying to get our schedules work together, I guess is what it is.
Hey man, like I said, I hadn't done a show in 2 fucking months.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's tough to do, and it's kind of hard to get the viewers that you want.
I mean, yeah, you say at the beginning, like, I don't care who watches, but at some point, man, come on, just a couple would be nice,
right?
Maybe. I mean, I got 2 watching right now. That's more than I usually have on YouTube.
Oh, there you go.
So, I mean, course, they're it's my friends mostly, so I have to like it. I
Yeah.
guess. It's kind of mandatory. So, yeah, we were talking before the show, and you had mentioned that you came from Shocker, from like a extremist Christian, I guess sect really is what it is. You said you came from Independent Baptist. Is that
Yes.
correct?
I came from an independent Baptist church in a small town.
And I'm pretty sure I had somebody on, and that's what they were from.
Yeah.
And they were telling all about their horrific experiences as a woman, which I'm sure is even worse. But
Right.
um, so how were you born into? I mean, who would go into that willingly? But
Yeah.
um, how was that? How'd that
Yeah,
go?
I grew up uh in an independent Baptist church and at a young age, and oh man, I didn't come up out of it really until I was, well, just a few years ago probably. It would be 8 years probably when I first started coming out. Maybe it's kind of hard to track all that because it doesn't happen. It happens
Right.
gradually, but it happens all at once at the same time. It's weird like that, I guess, because things, you start to pick things apart in your brain a little bit at a time. That, well, you know, I guess for some of it, the church that I went to was fairly racist and fairly misogynistic and everything because of the book that they read.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's all true.
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But so yeah, uh there was a few things whenever I first got married or was going to get married that I started questioning marriage as a thing to begin with. Like, why why do I need this piece of paper from the government saying that I love this person or that I want to spend my life with them? It didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense why a religion that was based over, in another fucking country that wouldn't have the same government to begin with or have anything years and years ago, that what the fuck, what are we even calling marriage at this point then? And the Bible never mentions marriage. So it kind of, that's what started to work at me. And then it started to work at me with my brother. Kind of, he's 10 years older than me. He started telling me things, questioning a lot of the morals of things that I was still holding on to, because of the church, and like homosexuality and things like that. And I guess one of the things, I don't know, is it okay to, I hope I haven't, yeah, probably cussing and whatever fine on here, or, yeah, I'm assuming I've I get,
Fuck yeah, it is.
I'm a Satanist, so I get kind of, but anyways, no, he would, I think one of the things he told me was, he'd asked me about, well, what do you have against gay people anyways? And I said, well, nothing really, but the Bible says that this and that, and it just, I'm against it. And there was a lot of questions after that I couldn't answer. There was a lot of questions, that question I couldn't really properly answer. And he started kind of poking into all of that. And he said, well, are you gay? Well, no. Well, then what does it matter to you? And I just couldn't, give a real good answer. Well, just the Bible. Well, forget the Bible. Not everybody reads your Bible. So are you saying that there shouldn't be freedom of religion then, or there shouldn't be any, that everybody should believe that and go by the, well, no, not really, because then you can't have your own freedom of religion. And it got to this point of just working all of that out, and just really standing back, taking a step back from what I'd been brought up in, and taking an honest view at it. And it didn't, you start tugging on that thread, and that's all it fucking takes. I had went and started to kind of shift into deism for a second, and by that time I was listening to podcasts and things, and I couldn't remember any of the podcasts that my brother would tell me or anything. I'd never listened to them before that. And so I started searching for like secular sexuality, and I came across secular sexuality with Dr. Daryl Ray. And after listening to a lot of the experiences and things that people had went through, and just this broad spectrum of things that I wasn't, I guess, allowed to even consider, that people had these different ways of living and different just how sexuality is just so taboo to begin with the church, and to kind of have that to where I could listen to just honest messages, honest people being honest about things, and not putting on this mask that the church wants you to wear all the time. And listening to a lot of the things that he had to say and the people that were on, it started changing my mind even more so. That, yeah, these are normal things, and this is a doctor that's spent his life, kind of researching these things, and there are many more out there that are agreeing with him that aren't necessarily holding a religious bias on these things. And from there, I just kind of I started watching the Atheist Experience, and I started seeing like Tracy Harris had mentioned some things about and Jen Peoples was one of them that was mentioning things about religion specifically at that time, and it struck me as just spot on, and it kind of shut down where I was going into deism. It kind of just shut that off for me, and I didn't. It was like, yeah, that's just me holding on to faith a little bit, trying to hold on to that last bit of religion that was still beat into my head.
Yeah. Okay, so there you are. Boom, you're an atheist.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're an atheist now. You're like, self, what next? So, how did you come to the Satanist?
Well,
worshiping version. I mean, sacrificing virgins and all that shit.
all
Oh
right.
wait,
No, I actually started to get into Satanism after I realized that it wasn't a like actually believing in Satan and thinking that was a thing. It was an atheist-based organization that was taking no more advantages than what any religion was already taking, and it was a voice more for atheists and that type of mindset. And whenever I started reading the tenets, I was already doing everything that was in those tenets. So it just kind of already clicked. It already went along. It wasn't anything that was, I didn't, start eating babies and killing people or sacrificing people or whatever.
yeah, no, I was disappointed about that.
Right.
I wanted some blood and stuff, make it interesting. Um, so how active are you, or just kind of chill about it, or?
um, I'm active enough to be attending an event Friday
Oh,
for the for Halloween type deal, just a little get together. But I'd like to attend more. It's just that it's so spread out right now that
yeah,
we're just starting to build up a little bit of a community around our area, and it's kind of hard in this area being um, Ohio's a red state, and West Virginia got turned red, and they're just all kind of not quite on the
So,
same page.
where are you at? I mean, don't mind me asking where in Ohio you are. What
uh,
region?
I guess
You don't
it's
have to.
southeastern area, I suppose. A lot of farmland and shit around this area.
Oh, well, that's fun. Yeah, those are
Yeah,
always the
not
funnest places.
yeah, little
Most,
towns,
yeah,
farmland,
most
not
tolerant
much.
places usually.
Yeah, right.
Awesome progressive places where they really understand
Yeah.
tolerance. You know.
Well, and that's why I started I I started up an atheist community in my area on Facebook, and I just started searching everybody that I thought might be friends of me or whatever that would be uh, atheist, secular, whatever kind of label they want to put on it, and try to get our group together a little bit to be able to do things around here, because everything's so overrun with religion, Christianity in particular, and a lot of the churches like I went to. So uh, when I started going into that, yeah, I had met somebody that wanted to get into podcasting too, because I kind of wanted to get a voice thrown out there too from this area that no, you know you aren't really alone. There's other people, and to kind of share resources and stuff too, I suppose. Uh, um, so sorry to ramble on about that, but
No, that's why you're here. You're here to ramble. Um, so you met. I mean, we can come back to that maybe. But
okay,
I wanted to kind of get. So you decided to do the podcast, right? With the
yeah,
Scott because of that, right? Okay. Um, I wanted to kind of ask you about your experiences with the Satan's. Why do I always have a problem with it? Satanic Temple. Is there like certain things that appeal to you more than others, or
I
is it
I don't get too much into the dress up thing, you know.
the ritualistic
Yeah,
aspect?
I mean, you know, that's fine if somebody does, you know, that's cool. That's artistic, you know. I can understand the concept. I can understand the symbolism and everything behind it. I guess it just doesn't appeal to me as much. Um, I other than the community, I suppose, because they're all good people and they're all people that I'd hang out with and stuff. Like I said, there aren't many in my area, so it's tough when they're over an hour away to try to, you know,
Yeah.
be in the into that stuff all the time.
Well,
But
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
like I said, the tenants and stuff I go by and everything, and I've got my card, you
What are
know,
the
all that.
tenants
But
anyway? Maybe you should. What the tenants are?
I could
Kind of.
grab them right here off the wall.
Oh, you got them. Okay, I was gonna look them up just out of curiosity. I mean, it's pretty much just basic,
Yeah, it's
you know, humanist stuff, I guess, more or
oh,
less.
that's a dark view of it. It's in my wallet. I got them. You want me to go over the tenants with you?
Yeah, yeah. Just read them over right quick. Just kind of get an
Okay.
idea.
Uh, First tenant: one should strive to act with compassion and empathy towards all creatures in accordance with reason. Two, the struggle for justice is an ongoing and necessary pursuit that should prevail over laws and institutions.
Now that's kind of subversive if you think about it.
Yeah, some of they could be, but
And not that I give a
okay,
fuck,
yeah.
obviously.
Three is one's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. Four, the freedoms of others should be respected, including the freedom to offend, to willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedoms of another is to forego on your own, or forego your own. 5. Beliefs should conform to our best scientific understanding of the world. We should take care never to distort scientific facts to fit our beliefs. People are fallible. If we make a mistake, we should do our best to rectify it and resolve any harm that may have been caused. Every tenet, this is the last. Every tenet is a guiding principle designed to inspire nobility in action and thought. The spirit of compassion, wisdom, and justice should always prevail over the written, spoken word.
So that's totally, just unacceptable. That's so radical.
Right.
I can't even imagine how anybody could deal with it. The only thing that I would say would be that, like I said, like laws, as long, if justice doesn't necessarily equate with laws, which I agree with.
Right.
But if you're like, it's only a kind of subversive a little bit. Not, like, again, I just think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Which we're seeing a lot of nowadays, actually, with all the protests and shit. We're seeing that laws don't necessarily equal justice. So
Right.
we have to kind of fight for justice rather than worry about the laws.
I don't know. Maybe I take a little bit more of the philosophy in with scientific uh, knowledge that we know, because there's a lot in philosophy. I mean, it's science has stemmed from philosophy. So I don't know, a lot of it, like Occam's razor and things like that. I kind of take care of some of it, I guess, to a certain extent, or I guess fallacies and things that you would take into consideration. Kind of help with those things, I think. I think the tenets kind of work off each other, or they can.
Yeah, I think they're pretty solid. I don't think anybody with goodwill or open mind could really argue with. Even
Right.
I would even hell, if you read those out, didn't say where they came from.
Yeah.
Most people would be like, okay, that seems well. Most left-leaning people would say, let me amend that statement.
Yeah.
Because even Christians, Christians was, what's it? They were reading the Christians and they were freaking out about it. It was like, what was it? I think it was the Beatitudes. No, it was something that came out of the Bible, but they couldn't believe. Oh no, it was the Constitution. That's what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
They were reading them shit from the Constitution. They're like, oh my God, that's
Yeah.
horrible. What the fuck?
There was footage of them reading verses from the Bible, but saying it was from the Quran,
Oh,
and they were completely against it until they told them that that was actually from the Bible.
yeah. I mean, it's just, they don't know what nobody actually reads the fucking thing.
Mm-mm.
It's a fucking, it's a cult, man.
Well, I think that's part of it. It gets read to you. That's what it is. Like, that's the whole thing. Is even the religions that claim to be independent and everything, it just means that they don't have overseers above them at that point, Like United Methodists have, where they're picking their pastors to go in and stuff, and it's actually just the people picking it at that point in that particular church in independence. So
Yeah.
they can kind of, and at that point, they can kind of just go with whatever they want to add or deny or whatever at that point, whether that is technically part of the Baptist thing or not. So it's like it's also just, it's all the same.
It's cherry picking.
Yeah, exactly.
They just pick and choose what they like. And there are some that are more honest about than others. I mean,
Yeah.
and the ones that are more honest, I'm like, why aren't you just not religious? Because
Yeah.
Because it's obvious that you are compassionate and well-meaning and intelligent. Why the fuck are you still a Christian? I mean,
Right.
now
I mean,
there
Dolly
could be.
Parton's one of those for me.
Oh, she's a fucking angel. Jesus
I
Christ.
love her, but at the same time, it's
No,
like,
I know, I know.
come the fuck on. Just
Well,
drop it, Dolly. You don't need that. You're doing it on your own. You're doing great. You're doing great fucking things. Take
but
credit for it, you know?
it's really, really hard, and I'm sure you know this,
Yeah.
for somebody to come out of if it's been just pounded into you for your entire life.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to just come out of it. So you come to a compromise, I think, in your own mind
Right.
between knowing that you have this religious upbringing and it's just you can't it's so a part of your personality. If you ripped it out, you basically what people think is they're just going to be fucked. A
Yeah.
fucking empty shell, which that's why people have to go through people like, like people you've listened to or whatever
Yeah.
to kind of rehab themselves. But, I can understand that, right? So I don't want to judge anybody who, especially in the South. I mean, it's even me. I was never really that religious, but I
Yeah.
find myself just thinking things, and I'm like, why did I? It's like it's been indoctrinated in you, even if you didn't fucking
Oh,
realize
yeah.
it. So
Yeah. Well, our laws and everything have been just based around it for so long. I mean, you could get into how the Red Scare things played into that. Uh, how, you know what I mean? The propaganda we were running, but, it wasn't us running propaganda, it was everybody else. But we were promoting, Christianity as this good, clean thing over here with capitalism and socialism and communism and fascism. Let's lump them in over here, except now we're okay with fascism, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. They didn't even give a fuck about fucking religion. They're just using that as a bulwark against the godless communists. I mean, it's
It's
all
all
just a tool of fucking, you know, the powerful. Whatever tool they can use to leverage it against people to get them what they want them to do or whatever. That's all. That's religion or fucking ideologies, regardless, whether it be secular or religious. But that's
I
all.
I don't know. I think it's combined itself with capitalism in this country to the point to where it's like,
Oh well, yeah. In this kind, yeah,
yeah,
it's like a fucking capitalism's like a religion.
yeah,
I mean,
it's
how dare you speak against the holy capitalism?
yeah.
It's like a fucking sacred, like going
Oh,
shopping is like a sacred right. As an
oh,
American, you have
you
to
should
consume.
you should feel privileged to live on a corporate wasteland after they've dried your fucking country up of all of its fucking resources and don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah,
That
that's a whole. We're getting. That's a whole different.
right.
You know, we're getting off track. That's okay. I don't have a problem with that. But so the tenants are cool. Okay, I can. You're not big in the ritualistic part, and what I found interesting is that if you, I don't know if you know about, what are they? Oh, it's, um, fuck. Like they're atheist churches, basically. They go to, and I can't fucking. It's not a church.
Sunday Assembly
Yeah,
is one
that's
that we
it.
have around here.
Sunday
Yeah,
Assembly. That's
I've
it.
been to it once.
To me, things like that and the ritualistic aspect in Satanism is kind of for people who need that community aspect, right? That
Right.
they miss that part of
Yeah.
religion, right? So that kind
Right.
of fellowship or whatever.
Yeah.
So to me, that's what the. I mean, I like again. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
You do you,
I mean,
but
Sunday Assembly. Some people want to sing and dance and or sing and have kind of a almost church-like structure to it to a certain degree, but leave out all of the religious parts of it.
yeah,
At least the
um,
one I went to was like that. I don't know, you know, but and
There are,
then I
well,
think the Satanists are just kind of doing the same thing, only they're doing the rituals that are.
right. That's
It's
what I
fun
mean.
for
Yeah.
them. That's what it is. You know, it's community. It's fun for them, and uh, it's not a bad thing. I don't think
No, I mean,
it's not good for
as long
like
as,
for me with the Sunday assembly thing. It made me uncomfortable being like that church-like setting.
and yeah, right.
It
Yeah.
kind of
It's
fucked with my
creepy.
head a bit, and it just
Yeah,
yeah.
it has to trigger some people.
Yeah, and I mean they were singing songs that were just rock songs and stuff, and somebody playing a guitar up there, and people were just singing along to "Summer of '69" or whatever,
That
stuff
sounds
like that, you know.
creepy. That's just
But
creepy to me. I mean, I
well,
can go to a bar and sing karaoke and
yeah,
all,
that
but
was the part that was creepy for me. But they also had kids there too and stuff, so I think they're trying to keep it kid
that's what
friendly
I.
to a certain degree, and yeah, they had people from they had professionals there speaking about like Mars rovers and things like it, like scientific based sermons, if you will. You know what I mean?
Right, I'm
but
just not. Yeah,
yeah, I found all of that just fascinating. The people they had, the speakers they had, like I was saying, the whole structure to it. I don't particularly care for, but it's some people need that, like you said. Some people want that or whatever, or that comforts them
so
in a way, I guess.
yeah. So my idea, I said to myself, I said, man, I'm all about getting drunk and shit. So I started my own thing called Atheists at the Pub that I do like once a month on like a Saturday night, and like we go to a bar, well, a bar, pub, whatever. Obviously not a real pub, and
Yeah,
we just drink and have some good times. I don't even. It's not really even atheist. I just use that
yeah.
as a gathering point. But that's my church, right? So that's my idea of a good time.
That's well, and that's kind of how I started out my atheist community around this area. Was I started finding these people on Facebook and stuff. I'm like, well, okay, we got an event Sunday, and we'll go and drink over at the bar at this place or wherever. And yeah, we'd meet up there and talk. And I got to meet a couple people that were great, uh, great people, and a handful. I'm still trying to get. It's hard to do with the coronavirus and all that. Just kind of putting a abrupt
Yeah,
stop to every fucking thing.
that's fucking things up. And I'm
Right.
that was the
I
one
was wanting to
chance I
have a
got to.
steak. I was wanting to have a
Go ahead.
steak fry or a cookout or something, for us this year, and it just didn't work out like I wanted. But I don't know. Maybe next century.
Who the fuck knows? But yeah, that was like the one time a month I could like actually, because I don't like going out. So it was the one time
Yeah.
a month I knew I had to go.
Yeah.
I had to make myself go out. It's kind of sad, but um, yeah, I've met a lot of steady people that I know that come there that I'm good friends with now, and I had I think the best turnout I had was like 25 people one time. So I mean, we've gotten some decent crowds sometimes, and I always enjoy it meeting new people. Um,
I found it amazing just the few people that I met, the different backgrounds. I always love that.
yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah,
getting to see where people come from that I don't know how we all kind of came to this point, even though we came from all these other backgrounds that we have, me being religious, having a religious background and things. And then other people weren't. There's more, some of them were maybe not quite religious. Maybe they just went every, a few holidays here or there, whatever. And then others that were just, their parents were scientific minded to begin with. And I always just find that fascinating how, and kind of as a thing that's maybe something that connects all of us to a certain degree in our thinking. Um, It's more than coincidence that we all came to this same conclusion, being from such a broad uh, background.
Don't say it's more than coincidence, man. You're delving into fucking karma territory or
Oh
some shit,
no, no,
man.
not talking. No, no.
No, but I mean, you're right though. I mean,
Yeah,
I think that's anytime you meet people that from a uh, what's the word I'm looking for? A background, I guess, that you don't usually meet in general,
yeah,
and you get them together, you're always going to have sort of a mishmash because it's not something that you normally see.
yeah.
Although the nuns are getting bigger as a population,
And that's
as a
I've found a lot more interest in interviewing people uh, lately. I guess because of that. Um, that's interested me a lot. Just getting to getting to see these people. Just you're you're putting things together in a completely different area. Um, what I was at that point, you know, and you're still coming to the same conclusion, only from a different aspect, I guess. Or I don't know. There's a lot of similarities to draw, and there's a lot of contrast to the things. Um,
that yeah. Well, it's always interesting to me that there are people who didn't grow up religious. I'm just like blown away. You mean you
yeah,
didn't? You weren't?
right.
What?
That's yeah.
What are you talking about?
And I've
Because
noticed
being in this,
with those people, it's harder for them to see how religion influences the country. And
oh
it's
yeah,
like those people usually tend to like stray towards libertarianism, which
yeah.
perfect world maybe that would be great, but not in this country, unfortunately.
No,
Corporations have already taken their hold. You can't just give them the reins and be like, "Oh, here you go. We're just going to take restrictions away and fucking here you go. Have at it."
well, yeah,
It'll just all sort itself out because people are smart like that. No, they're going to want what's cheapest, and they've already got that.
yeah. That's not, yeah, or at least the way it libertarianism is understood in this country. It's basically just
Well, they're candidates at the very least.
oh
Do not
fucking
do
don't
not
get me
represent
started.
anything fucking sane at all.
Don't get me started on what's her name, JoJo or
Yeah, and
whatever.
see that's what I like to. I just recently started watching Vosh. I don't know if you've seen him before or not.
What's the
He's
name?
on YouTube. Vosh,
But oh,
Vaush,
okay.
and he's a gamer, but he really knows his shit when it ticks and things like that. He'll be gaming and things, and he'll be debating people while he's doing
That's
it. And
interesting.
it's over big hot button issues, and I've never seen anything that came across as like, well, how the fuck did you come to that conclusion? Type of thing,
Right.
because he's just so he's got it down, um, and he's a very interesting person to listen to. Uh, but he had I'm sorry, I'm getting getting ahead of myself. Go
I
ahead,
don't.
go ahead.
I don't know what the fuck I was talking about.
I'm horrible about that.
Well, it's because all the years of alcohol abuse, like my brain cells are fucking fried. Um. Oh yeah, the atheist thing. So yeah, finding people that you have things in common with. I think in the South, especially, or in the Midwest too. I guess technically, like
Yeah,
in Ohio counts as to me. Ohio's
right.
basically fucking. Might as well be the South. Um. There's a lot. It's so much more religious in this part of the country that
If we were
um.
any more north, we'd be in fucking Canada. That's the sad part about it. But
I
yeah,
know.
I get what you're saying. It's just
Well, yeah, I'm an
yeah, I
ideologically,
get
I
what you're
guess.
saying that way because it's true. I won't deny it.
Um, that we people like us tend to need to band together more because there's not as many of us. So
Yeah.
it was cool when there was conventions and there was atheist conventions and some of these conventions, and
Yeah.
there is always usually a pattern to there's like a general, like there's speakers and shit, and then you have
Yeah.
like a after party thing or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't ever give a fuck about the speakers. Okay, I
Yeah.
was there for the party. Okay, let me just be honest with you, but I think a lot of people were just meeting people through that kind of like there's an American atheist and the convention was in Cincinnati
Yeah. Yeah.
last year.
I wanted to get to that. I didn't get the chance. I should have,
I
I guess I should have looked into some of the things they had. Because they will, I believe they'll help people that can't afford the tickets out there, can't afford this or that. I think they try to help people be able to come to those things that can't necessarily afford it otherwise.
well, I snuck in.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't sneak in, but I wasn't gonna go because there's no fucking way I was paying that much money. But one of the organizers somehow found out she'd met me at was it Skepticon? I think in Missouri, in St. Louis. Was it St. No, Springfield. That's what it was. Like the year before or something. And she thought I was apparently she didn't know enough about podcasters to know I wasn't shit, which is fine with me. So she said she'd get me in as a podcaster. I'd have my own little if I wanted to invite
Oh,
other
nice.
podcasters and shit. So I'm like, I know that live around me and they're not even shit either. Like, hey man, I get to fool people into thinking we somebody. So we had our own table
Nice.
or whatever. And I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean,
Right next to Anthony Magnabosco.
yeah. I mean, we were.
I mean, not real. I don't know. I wasn't there, but
It was a. Well, I'm sure he was there. I mean, they always usually have the same people. I mean, that's the
Right.
only thing that kind of pisses me off. It's always the same fucking people. I mean,
Yeah.
they did do a gam or whatever, a live gam. So that was
Yeah.
god awful movies or whatever. So that was. I mean, that's to me that. And then they had fucking the banquet. And we had to listen to Fishy speak. Nick Fish, the president of American Atheists. I don't give a fuck about him.
I haven't.
But
I don't know any of
he's
them
the one
really.
that took over. He's the one that took over from Silverman after
Oh, okay.
after he got fired or whatever.
Somebody needed to.
But it was fun because I got to meet people I hadn't met except online, and then I got to see some people I hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah.
So to go to those kind of conferences to me is all about like meeting people. I don't
Right.
I don't really give a fuck about the other stuff.
Yeah.
And the South it seems like it dwindled a lot though, because there used to be a lot. It seems like there used to be a lot more than there are now. There used to be ReasonCon, which was down in Charlotte, not Charlotte. Fuck, Asheville.
They've all moved away. You fuckers have just
I know they
not
fucking.
voted
Well,
for so fucking long that look at
he
you.
just quit. He just quit doing it. He said, "I'm done." I'm like, "You fucking asshole! Do you know how many people came there just for that?
Yeah.
Just to meet people? That was like their only time for atheists and shit to like get together and get fucked up, and that was like the big party convention, and they took it away.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't the guy organizing it, so I can't.
Right.
I don't know what he was going through. I'm sure it was legit, but it was just kind of disappointing for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah.
Because it was just a big thing for a bunch of people to get together, and I haven't seen anything like that. I mean, Skepticon and American Atheist are the only two I can think of off the top of my head
Yeah.
that are even anything like conferences, and those are too centered on fucking like actual issues or whatever, and organizations. I don't know.
Yeah. We do have probably the closest thing to me would be a free thought community, which is the people running it in my area are also involved with that, the Sunday Assembly. So they kind of, I think that's what they get, a lot of scientific minded people over towards the Sunday assembly thing. That's what I saw there. But yeah, that's the closest thing to me, and they don't. I they have a few events, but they don't have a whole lot going on. They're just not enough people.
That's what I'm saying, man. We got to do a thing again. I got to
Yeah.
organize. I'm just going to have to organize to their fucking conference. Except this time, there ain't going to be no speakers. It's
Yeah.
just, it's going to be a fucking party the whole fucking time.
A lot of them have been doing a thing on Meetup lately. I've I've went on a lot of those where they've had Zoom meetings on Meetup.
Yeah, they actually. So they had some dude was doing one of the things I was doing, but when I started doing it, he does a meetup at a brewery. He was doing it like every Thursday,
Okay.
every other Thursday, but it was so boring.
Yeah.
They were old. I hate to say that, man. I love you, bruh, but you're just too old. I need parties, man. They're sitting there sipping their IPA and shit. No, man. I need some action. I got lucky, though. The one night, the first time I ever did it, was at the same brewery that happened to be doing it um, on a Saturday night for once. And so somehow I got the people from my thing, which just like that was literally the first time I did it, combined with the people who were already there. And so I got lucky on that. That was fun, actually. So I was blessed to have that happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally. If you're in an area like that, man, you just gonna have to make it happen. Really, to be honest with you, that's the only way I got anything.
Yeah.
Because if I hadn't done that, there wouldn't be. I mean, unless I'm going to Sunday assembly, and that's just not my thing.
Yeah.
You know. So it's up to you, man. You need to start some shit.
It's been slow
I'm,
going, but I'm trying
counting.
to. Yeah,
I'm
I know.
counting on you, man. I'm counting on you. You need some social media presence, man. You gotta take pictures, man. You gotta have some slick materials. You know, pick you a good bar. That's one of the main things, man. You gotta pick a good venue.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's gotta be big enough to be able to handle not a whole lot, but but not so big that it's
Right.
like all corporate and shit. You know, kind of a
Yeah.
local bar scene or something, but not too bar. More of a bar and grill. You don't want it to be a dive bar because you don't want to be dodging broken bottles and shit. You want it to be a pretty laid back atmosphere. Anyway, I'm off topic. But yeah, as atheists in this area or in this general vicinity of the country, it's more difficult to meet people.
Yeah.
Or Satanist or whatever.
Yeah.
People of the nun persuasion, I guess you could say.
Oh,
So,
I can
I,
definitely understand that.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure you can. But I kind of wanted to. I'd sent you a couple articles. I just browsed them real quick. The Satanic Temple is also involved in some activism. Now, I remember on my old podcast they had what was it? The Satanic Coloring Book or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and it was a big thing. Where was it? It was in the South. I don't remember. I think it was Florida, where they were distributing because you fuck around, man. This is what happens.
Yeah.
You open that door, like they were giving out
Yeah.
Bibles and shit. Oh, you want some Bibles?
Yeah.
Okay. We start giving out these satanic coloring books, which I guarantee are more interesting than the Bible to kids any day of the week. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
after what happened with that case, the Supreme Court case, I forgot the name of it, where basically religious organizations can just start giving invocations in public time and shit like that.
Oh
Well, they
yeah.
opened the door.
I
They opened
I
the door
went
wide
I
open.
went to a public school here, and they have the pastor from my church that I grew up in going to the elementary school at least every week. I don't know if maybe more than that. He could be getting, because they split up the classes and things. Um, like first grade might have 4 or 5 different classes or whatever. So he might be there all through the week. I'm not real sure, but I know I saw the van there and everything. And he's able to go in and give his little sermons whenever he wants, basically, for something that everyone's paying taxes towards.
It's not a certain time or certain class or after school or anything.
No,
Just whenever.
no. This is. I don't know about it being just whenever. I'm sure it's scheduled. I mean, as far as that goes, but it's it's every. I don't know, and he's getting them young.
They
Like,
Well, that's how they
like to do.
brainwash them, and
Yeah.
that's how they brainwash them with their bullshit.
Hmm.
Really, it's any ideology, if we're going to be honest about it.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I mean, you get them either young or at their weakest
right.
vulnerabilities.
Yeah. So they find ways to get around shit, right? So they'll make it where they make it like there's Bible classes, right? But they're electives. You don't have to take them, right?
Yeah.
Only problem with that is that if you don't take these classes, you're ostracized because you're not in the in crowd.
Right.
They know that shit too. They don't care, right?
Yeah.
They just want their religion fucking plastered everywhere. In
I
Tennessee,
mean,
just
you can't go up to somebody and threaten them to where you're just going to burn them to death and then some. But it's okay when it comes to religion, right? It's okay to have those threats then.
well, they're mind games, right? They're,
Yeah,
it's intimidation, really, is what it is.
yeah.
With afterlife, with the burning in
That's
hell. Is what
yeah.
it is.
That's what I don't get how you could ever say that there's free will if you have if it's under duress to begin with. So
Well, that's what happens in so many of these rural counties. They never say that you have to be this way, but if you aren't, then you're, like I said, you're ostracized in a small town. That's all you have. I mean, if they all are all against you, you're fucking alone,
not only
man.
that, yeah, you're going to hell and you're a bad fucking person.
Yeah. So I mean, people don't take that. Well, they do take into account. They just don't give a shit.
And that affects every fucking thing then, as well. That you've okay. Oh well, I'm hiring Johnny down the street because
Right.
he's a good Christian man,
Right.
and I don't know about
right.
that other guy. And it doesn't matter about skill set or anything at that point.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No.
So that's why it makes it so difficult for, especially rural people.
It's tribalism.
Oh yeah, definitely. I wanted to mention, just because this is in my area, Tennessee just passed a law in June where they have to give. Well, they already didn't have to. If the local school board approved it, was that you get an hour away from school to do some religious bullshit, right? They give you an hour or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Well, they changed it to where the local board doesn't have to approve it. You can do it. We don't even need to approve it now. We'll just do whatever the fuck we want, right? So they can, as school credit. Now, keep in mind, this is taken away from actual education, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, learning about stuff that actually exists in this world
Actually
around
happened.
us.
Yeah.
Yes. And not in some fucking, some man fairy or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. Some fairy in the sky. And they could take him, I don't know I guess they're...
Cloud wizard.
That's a good one. I'm going to start using.
Sky wizard. Yeah, cloud wizard.
So anyway, they could do that now. Well, no sooner did that happen than here comes Satanic Temple talking about they want to do it. They started their own chapter. I have the Facebook. I can't remember what it is up, but they posted a little thing as soon as that law got passed. They're like, and of course it's sarcastic as fuck, right? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
thanks to the state legislature, now we can have our own after school, Satan after school, after whatever it's called or whatever, after school Satan. Ass. I wonder if that was on purpose. Yeah, and now we're going to be able to do our own thing, and we're going to start teaching it. And of course, it's all bullshit, right? They don't want one of the things that they don't want. Obviously, they don't want school. They want church and state separation or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I haven't heard ever since that law passed, and ever since I saw that post, I haven't heard of anybody actually doing this yet. But well, I guarantee you, when it does happen, it's going to hit the news. Okay, if after Satan's school starts doing shit around here, and this was in East Tennessee that this actually, where they were talking about doing this, like Knoxville. I guarantee you, if that shit does happen, they're gonna, those Christians are gonna be fucking crying and shit.
Oh yeah.
If they get Satan in the schools or whatever, and they'd actually learn something in the after school Satan or whatever the fuck, because they're not actually going to teach them Satanism. They're going to teach them like like actual science and shit. At least that way, you'd get some education instead of going to, what are you doing in Jesus school? I don't know. Singing hymns and reading a book that was written by Bronze Age fucking idiots. What am I? Yeah, go herders. What the fuck do I care? What the hell am I doing? They don't even know where the sun came from. What the fuck are you talking about?
We have trees older than the fucking flood. Like,
I don't know what's happening. What are you saying to me right now? Every creature could fit on one ark. Everyone. Okay. Do you know how many species of roaches there are alone? Do you know, sir?
Well, see, they either had an aquarium in there big enough to hold all the freshwater animals as well.
Yeah, that's another thing, right?
Or they'd have to just claim defeat that there was evolution at some point, which
I
they
don't
won't
know.
do.
I don't. Or they'll just, well, it's metaphorical. Metaphorical for what?
Right.
What is this supposed to be a metaphor for exactly? I don't understand.
How many other religions use that same metaphor? It's like
Actually, well, we all know. People who've actually read the Bible are usually the ones who are actually atheists or whatever.
Right.
So we all know it's all the fucking different religions that have used some sort of flood story in their fucking cosmology or some shit. We know that shit already. But God, I get off topic again. But anyway, I haven't heard that going anywhere yet.
Yeah.
Which I'm thankful for and kind of not, because I kind of want to see what happens, right? I want to see them lose their shit when there's an after school Satan thing or whatever. Just because I'd love to see it's funny to me. It's fucking hilarious. And of course, there's another law that passed on here not too. They have to put "In God We Trust" in all the schools now, right?
Yeah, right.
And you know how they can skirt that too, because they say, "Well, it's the national motto, right?"
That was created when?
In the 50s, it was like because of communism, godless communism.
Pledge of Allegiance wasn't. There was no God in the Pledge of Allegiance for how long? Yeah,
and money.
The Red Scare bullshit still fucking at work.
Yep. People don't care. They want God, but they try to well, it could be any God. It's a generic God. Right, man, right. Okay, let's just put Allah in there and see how that works for you. What? Oh, you don't like that one? Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah, I'm part of a religious debates group too.
Oh God.
Getting to hear people, but we have everybody, like all across the world, that are on this thing. And getting to hear from people that are from more secular areas of the world, the Netherlands, and I mean around the UK in general is pretty. They just don't take the shit as literally as what we do here, is what a lot of the people that I've seen do. So it's interesting to see all that perspective of things, and then still see these people trying to push religion on everyone else, and that not being able to separate morals from religion. That you've got an old book, okay, but your old book advocates for slavery, for holding women as property, for doing all these things that we pretty well already agree are not okay.
Yeah, it's not like they're
So
controversial.
those are those are things that are immoral, and your God's setting an immoral standard, but He's telling you to do the opposite. So what kind of God is that to be believing in to begin with? If He's supposed to be your leader, your shepherd or whatever.
It's like I said, and they don't.
Yeah,
It's been pounded into them since they were kids. They don't even think about it.
right.
It's just instinctual almost. It's like a reflex. And it's kind of sad in a way. I mean, so many.
Well, and the whole thing of the way that they do their sermons and things, the way that they structure the church to begin with. I guess this is maybe it's knowing too much, and that's why I don't care for the structure of the Sunday assembly. Um, well, but even then, it's different music, I guess. But with with more of the fundamentalists and shit, and where they're going by those old hymnals and things like that, and the way that they have it all set up, it's the way I've seen it from more of an unbiased standpoint of it is that these are things to kind of lull you into uh,
Sleep.
almost a hypnosis. Not quite. Yeah, Dr. Darrell Ray
Puts
was
my ass
talking about
asleep.
this. Yeah, that's why, and that's what he said. He said this is a thing that is you're lulling them into the sleep, but they wake up when the hymnals are going on or whatever, and it's almost this type of I don't want to say subliminal messaging, but almost to that effect that you're brainwashing people. So you've kind of got this system set up to where these hymns lull you into this area of comfort of being comfortable enough to fucking go to sleep for one, but for
Well,
another
I
to
guess
be let your guard down and let your uh, I guess let your thoughts go into their type of mindset and everything in a way.
well, if
It's
you've already been softened up as a kid, it don't take much
it,
anyway.
right, right,
I mean, I guess maybe associating comfort with the church, maybe being at church would helps kind of ease the insertion of the religious poison. Oh, you like that insertion of the religion? I like that. Um, kind of it's kind of gross, honestly.
yeah.
Um, so yeah. Okay, I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about. Um, so oh yeah. Um, in God we trust. That's what it was.
Yeah,
They have to put it everywhere now. And you can't get out of it,
which is
right?
like, well, like I was just that's another form of brainwashing almost into you thinking that there has to be this God. Well, your government's saying that there is. I mean, like .gov sites used to be a thing that was something to hold to a higher standard than other websites and things, and it's just like none of that fucking matters anymore. Like,
I don't know. It's just, and you can't do anything about it because the "In God We Trust" thing has been challenged, and unless you have to have somebody that's you can directly has been proven to be directly affected, and you have to be able because it's already been decided in the circuit level. So your ass is going to have to take it all the way to the fucking Supreme Court in order to even get heard, probably. So
and at
I
that
don't know.
point, it's like, what? Okay, well then, what's to say that you can call anything God? And what's to say that you can just start your own religion off it? What's to say you can't do these things? Like where, what do you, okay, define a religion? Because I don't think our fucking government can even properly do that.
Well, but
We've got
technically
religious
they can
we've
because that's
got
what the
religious cults that we started, cargo cults.
oh yeah, those are fun.
You know
Those
what
are
I
fun.
mean? So it's like how do you get around that? How do you even start other than just to say, okay, let's keep that shit separate and not fucking entertain it.
They don't care. They really
Yeah.
don't care.
That's what I like about the Satanists, that they're pushing that they're pushing that thought out there. That it's
well, the thing that's interesting is they got uh, tax exempt status as a religion. So now
Mhm.
that lets them go into court and challenge shit because of that. They can say,
yeah,
like the RIFRA thing, it allows them to say, try to make. Now, they tried the abortion thing in Missouri, and that didn't go through. They appealed it to the Circuit Court of Appeals, I think, and it
yeah.
got
It didn't.
shut.
Well, and the whole thing was that by the time it went to court, it was. I did that episode with that article in it,
Oh,
and
you did? Okay.
it it was that uh, the baby was already born at that point, I think, or that the so
Matter.
it didn't matter at that point, and they
Yes.
were just kind of like brushed it off, basically.
Well, from what I read, and this maybe it was a different case. I don't know.
It might have been.
They said that the argument was stupid. It didn't even really make sense to me. Um, you know what? I don't even fucking remember. I should have brought the article up, I guess. But I guess it's just dumb. It doesn't even.
Right.
They didn't even really answer the question whether it was a religious issue or not. They were trying to say that the state had an interest in regulating um, the time of conception, or in determining the time of conception, and it wasn't necessarily a religious thing. That you could use that argument as as a medical thing, which
Well, I
is
mean,
bullshit.
certainly the heartbeat bills and shit that got passed here that weren't.
And that's here, that's here
Yeah.
too. They're fucking everywhere now. It's not even a heart; it's a fucking muscle. It's not even a
Right.
fucking. It's a
Well,
fakest.
you don't determine somebody. Uh, I mean, there's people with artificial hearts, and there's people with pumps in place of their hearts that are
Yeah, it's
able to live. They have no pulse at all, but they're still alive.
brain activities.
Yeah, so that would, yeah, exactly. But even then, I mean, I don't know. To me, it's
Well, I mean, that none of that even matters
the point of birth.
to
You're a
me.
fucking human. You get your goddamn social security and shit. Then you don't get your fucking social security number while you're still in the fucking womb.
When
You don't
let's get
have
a
birth
head
or
start in the
fucking
bureaucracy
off.
and just apply for my SSN
Yeah,
while I'm in the womb. Right.
that's yeah, right,
As soon as they
right.
pop out, it's like, okay, here's your social
So
security.
yeah, but
I mean, if we're going by that standard. And anyway, none of that matters because it's
yeah,
the woman's choice anyway. So, I mean, I don't give a fuck if you don't like it or
right,
not. I mean, you can be
yeah,
religiously
exactly.
fucking, don't like it all you want.
But we base everything else off of, or we used to, like everything medical and things used to be based off of fucking medical research, scientific research, things that have been proven to be, and it's never proven to be that a fucking fetus is a baby at any point, that until it's fucking born, that it's a baby, and it's always been proven otherwise, that it's always been proven that it's safer for a woman to actually get an abortion than it is for them to for the woman
It's
themselves than it is to
it's all
carry it out for
bullshit.
full term, because they put their health at risk.
They just lie. It's a straight up.
Yeah.
They just lie basically. They lie on so many different things. Like the majority of
I feel like,
women
I
don't
mean,
regret it.
for us, it would be like, okay,
Well, they say if men could have kids, abortions would be a sacrament or something.
okay, Chris, you have a 10-pound fucking tumor in your fucking stomach. The only way it can pass out is through your piss hole, and you got to carry that thing to term because we don't like the other option,
God, Why you gotta
right?
wow.
It's just like it. Yeah, it's just so fucking ridiculous though to think that you know what I'm saying though.
No, I was just trying to
Yeah,
imagine.
right.
Like, oh my God. Talking about passing a stone, Jesus Christ,
Right.
man. No, it's just that visual just fucked with me. Um, yeah, you're totally. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just. I mean, did they don't think this stuff through. So like, okay, what happens if you ban abortions? Do you think somehow abortions are going to magically end just because you outlawed
Right.
it? No, they're going to keep going. Women's. It's just that women's are going to be lives are going to be put at risk because they don't have the proper
I
medical.
also right.
Do what?
And I also like the Christian perspective of it, that they're the Christian perspective that there's this like that they're saving some kind of life or whatever. And how many miscarriages are there every fucking year?
Oh yeah,
So did their God determine that that
yeah,
abortion was okay?
yeah.
That it was a
There's
God given
spontaneous
abortion, right? At
abortions.
that point.
Yeah, there's spontaneous
So how?
abortions all the time.
Yeah, it's the same fucking procedure that gets done afterwards to clean every fucking thing up in there that happens whenever you actually have an abortion. To I mean to a certain degree anyways, but it's
I mean, yeah.
that just always amazes me that they can't see the relation there. That okay, if you're saying that okay, you don't get to choose what lives get to survive or not, but your God does. But even if you pray and
Well,
you're saying you have free will, and
he has a grand plan, man. He
yeah,
works in mysterious ways. Don't
yeah,
question that shit.
right,
Don't question that shit. He let 6 million Jews die in the Holocaust, but don't question that shit.
yeah,
Or whatever. Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And then once they do come out, of course, they don't want to. They don't want to give them welfare. They don't want to give them any fucking social, any safety net. You
uh,
race them yourself. They're pro-birth. They don't give a
right,
fuck what happens to them when they come out.
right.
Because fuck,
It's,
you should look at the
what was
fucking
that? What was
dire
that?
poverty.
Oh, what was that George Carlin thing that they just like them alive long enough to send them out to war? Basically, I think is
Yeah,
what he was saying. I wasn't his exact thing, but yeah,
yeah, they don't give a
that's all they
fuck.
care about is when they're going to war or whenever they're still in the womb.
I mean, they're useless unless you need them to vote for your bullshit. Which most of the time they
Right,
can't anyway because they can't go to the polls because they're too poor to get there, or they've been gone to prison for some bullshit they made up because they're too poor. Because there's such a thing as being, you don't have bail, you can't fucking get bail, you're stuck in jail because
I mean that's really not even taking into consideration the meth babies that are born probably because of those laws, or women that were using drugs and things during their pregnancies because they really didn't want to have a baby to begin with, and it should have never been pushed on them to begin with. But
and then it's just and then some of these laws you got to have a dead baby. Basically, is what they're saying is,
yeah,
if your baby dies in your womb or whatever, you got to carry that fucking thing for the whole term.
we had,
So can you imagine that shit, man? Carrying a dead baby for like months.
dude,
That's
no, like, and yeah,
it's just so fucked. Anyway,
me and my ex-wife, we had a miscarriage, and that made me question a lot of things too with all of that.
oh dude,
Um,
I'm sorry. That's horrible.
oh man, and they offered to bury the fucking remains and all kinds of shit. You could have a funeral or whatever for that fetus.
That's creepy.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't that
We
creepy?
we
Kind
ended
of.
up we went with the option, and that was before I was completely out of religion. I went with the option to get it donated to scientific research and shit.
Oh yeah. Well yeah. At least some good had come out of it. I can't. That's just weird
Yeah,
to me.
that's the conclusion I came to as well. That at least something that maybe they'll figure it out for somebody else or whatever. It'll help. I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's religion is fucked. That's pretty much the.
I mean,
Anyway,
now I've got we got pregnant again soon after that, and ended up I got a daughter that's going to turn 6 this year. So it's now I'm worried about her and her future with the way our country's going. So it's a whole new set of things.
if you got a girl, it makes it even. Women are treated like shit. So they've got their own whole set of
Yeah.
obstacles. Oh,
Oh,
ain't that wonderful?
try to make sure that she knows enough to stand up for herself when it comes to fucking dickheads. But
Yeah.
because
I'm
I
sure
think
you
it gets
will.
pushed way too much on them to be meek and mild and not to speak up around when
I
men
mean,
are
it's getting
talking
them.
and shit almost to that point. It's fucking stupid. A lot
This
of the women,
generation's a little better, I
yeah,
guess.
but a lot of women in this area, even from my generation, are under this mindset of marrying. You got to get married. You got to get married. You got to get
Yeah,
married.
yeah,
Get this. You got to have kids. You got to do all these things to. That's their thing that they look as being successful in life,
yeah.
and
It's
it's
sad.
just not. I don't know, man. There's more to life than that, I think.
I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah. All right, we could do this forever.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna wrap things up. But
All right.
I did want you to give me your information as far as where we can find your show and stuff.
Yeah, you can. Give me a minute. Might have it. Some the actual links wrote down. Um,
Unorganizedsatanist.com.
oh, isn't it? Okay. Well, we have the Skeptical Satanist. You can find her page on Facebook. The Skeptical Satanist. I believe it's the Skeptical Satanist or Skeptical Satanist Podcast. We've got the Skeptical Satanist on YouTube. You can find us there.
Oh, I didn't know you were on YouTube. Okay.
Yep. That's where a podcast is. I haven't branched off into anything else at this point. Don't have the followers and just don't have the money to keep up with a monthly payment right now for having stuff up. But yeah, you can find us on there. And if you'd like to make a donation to us, you can do that at paypal.me/skeptical Satanist.
Oh, fancy. Okay.
So, yeah, I don't have any money. Please give me some money.
I
That way
mean,
we can do
if you're
more
getting,
things.
if y'all giving money away, I can take some too. Okay.
Well, give him some money too.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just gonna give it away, might as well give me some.
Just give it away.
I mean, shit. Why not? You know, because I'm a white guy. I need it more than anybody else.
I'm looking
Anyway,
forward to doing some skits and stuff on there eventually on the podcast.
that would be fun. That would spice things up. I'm a firm believer
Yeah.
in that kind of thing. Yeah.
I got an
I'm a
idea
good
for
actor.
the deal. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay. I'm a pretty good actor. Just to let you know.
That's good. I'm looking for somebody to do this with.
I mean, if
I think you'll go along with it. I'll let you know in a minute.
all right, dude. Well, we're going to end the broadcast here, but thanks for coming on, and get to doing some more episodes because I need you to start putting some things out.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, man, I do. I need to get on it some. COVID thing, I'm searching for work now and stuff, and I've worked in construction for 13 years, so I'm trying to get away from completely tearing my body and mind up.
Yeah. All right, dude. Well, and for everybody else, until next time, y'all take it easy now, okay?